Hello, my name is Russ McClanahan, and this how-to video is on how to submit an IRIC space request. Submitting the IRIC space request is actually quite simple. First thing you want to do is you want to get to the IRIC website, which is right here. You can get to the IRIC website underneath the A to Z index or through the Office of Research. And the first thing I'd like to recommend before you submit any space request is to reach out to me, the IRIC facility manager, to learn a little bit more about what is available in IRIC and what your needs would be, and if any available space would even fit your needs before even submitting the IRIC space request. I also highly recommend reaching out to the facility committee member that oversees your area. You can actually look on here on the IRIC webpage and see these are the individuals that are members of the IRIC facility committee. And you can look on here and see who is, like Park Requires, the College of Ag. If he's from your area, I'd recommend reaching out to them before you submit any requests also. To submit an actual request, you want to go to this tab here on the IRIC webpage. You can click on IRIC space request. Here, there's a quick little bullet points on space required criteria for space consideration here in IRIC, maybe some other stuff that would help bolster your application. And then if you're associated with a project or program that's already in IRIC and you're looking to apply again, there's a few other bullet points you'd want to address here. To actually do a space request, up here, the little tab, you have a space appendix that provides a little more information. You have the initial space request PDF format. That's the form you'd be interested. Now, if you're looking at placing a piece of equipment in IRIC, kind of like electron microscope or a 3D printer, something that's more of a core piece of equipment, you would actually use this request. But I'd like to go to this one right here. Again, this is in PDF format. If you need Word format, feel free to reach out to me and I can get it to you in Word format also. On this form, the kind of main things you really want to hit is, of course, your requester name. Every project should have a primary PI, and that's who would be in this spot here. Submittal date, department what you're associated with, phone number. And if you have any project collaborators, this is really important because the nature of IRIC, about the collaborative nature, you want to really put, make sure you have your project collaborators in here. Project title, description, kind of basic overview of your project and its title. And if this space is not enough, feel free to attach a larger document. And then here, if you actually want to, if your collaboration is among different colleges and departments, make sure you check this. And if you're actually collaborating with entities outside the university, this is where you'd also put that. As for funding, this is a really good idea to fill out this information here. Not required, but it's highly recommended to fill this out, especially if you're dealing with projects with a budget and funding. That we want to make sure we fall within the guidelines for non-taxable bonding that the IRIC was constructed under, so that information would be here. Your start date of the project, end date. Every project in IRIC must have an end date, and at that end date, you will have to reapply for space here in IRIC. So make sure you have an end date, and then any comments you would like to place for this application. Proposed location. This is kind of like if you reached out to me and we've kind of talked about an area, you put that in here. If we really haven't identified the area, you just want to put in what type of space you would need. One thing I'd really like to emphasize here is just list what you need, not what is projected, but what you need at this time. In the future, if we need more space, we can kind of work on doing project expansion, but start out with what you need. Equipment and utilities requirements. A lot of this information, if the project's accepted, we'll kind of expand a little more on it, but you want to kind of identify if you needed some additional equipment for your work or utility requirements that is not actually currently in place, what you might need. Again, if the project's approved, we'll kind of focus on that a little bit more. Same here with the equipment, make sure it's safe, IT needs. Just put in here if you will need IT needs, but one thing I want to kind of focus on, say here about this is IRIC will not cover the cost for IT needs. You will need to kind of coordinate with IT to get that correct. Hazards, again, just high level hazards if it's biosecurity level 2 or working with corrosive chemicals or radioactive materials, just kind of high level description. We'll kind of explore that a little bit more on more detail on one of our forms if the project is approved. So please check here if you're using sensitive information. Also note, no classified work can be conducted in IRIC at this time. If you are going to be working with classified material, kind of reach out to me and we'll see if we need to see if there's even a location that can be done. But for now, we're not really doing any classified materials. Security and safety compliance returns, make sure you kind of note that if you do IRB, IRIC, those type of things, that those are approved. Now this section will be after the committee reviews it, if it's accepted, pending. Pending would be if they want to table one more information or if it's declined and any comments that it's given. Now, if a project is approved, you'll get the form back from the IRIC facility committee chair signed and myself as the IRIC facility manager, and you'll need to get the signatures from your department chair or unit heads. Please, the committee only meets quarterly, so if these forms come in, it may be a little while before they're reviewed, but once they're reviewed, they usually will be getting these out in a very timely manner. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here in IRIC every day, all right? Thank you very much.